Hey everyone, welcome back to OCD Recovery's YouTube channel. Today I have a special request by Claire from the Facebook group to talk about an ROCD friend and celebrity edition. This is something that we do see quite commonly, especially with friends. And I do think the celebrity relationship OCD fears are a lot higher than we think of the percentage-wise, but there's probably a lot of shame and embarrassment surrounding it and they don't end up coming in, which is unfortunate. So if you find your way to this video, I think you're really going to enjoy it. I'm going to break down all the fears surrounding these particular categories. The way how I set this video up is I'm going to go over the friends ones first, and I'm going to go over the celebrity one. And there are a lot of overlaps between the two, but before I go any further, please subscribe, hit that like button, comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think about our channel. Let me know if you want to see not weird, but like different subcategories of these particular things. Because sometimes a lot of people are afraid to even ask, hey, look, I have this particular sensory motor fear, maybe about their bladder, but all they heard about was breathing and saliva, OCD, etc., etc. And I can go into that. And if you're interested in our coaching and webinar services, we just updated our webinar list every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. UK time. We have a lot of good ones coming up. We have my free one coming up. That's next week. We have a lot of living in the past ones, how to deal with anger and so forth. And there's a lot of fun. Again, that is info@OCDrecovery.com. So what is ROCD? Because this is something I talk about a lot. People love to make fun of me because they say this is bigger than my head. So relationship OCD is not just intimate relationships. Obviously, most of the people we work with, there are a lot of intimate relationship fears that we see, but it could be anything. It could be your family members, brother, sister, parents, strangers, co-workers, best friends. We see a lot of, close relationships, animals, dogs. I've seen this a few times as well, and celebrities and just unknown strangers. And what there is there's a fear cycle there. And inside that fear cycle could be the fear of missing out on life without a person, the fear of not having that connection with that person anymore, the fear of not being in love with an intimate or even a best friend or even a celebrity. And then there's behaviors, right? And then inside those compulsive and avoidance behaviors, there are intrusive thoughts, images, sensation, urges that are all coming in with this realness, as I always talk about, and a sense of urgency that many people are missing. And inside that sense of urgency, that compels people to do a compulsion or an avoidance behavior. And when you're decreasing compulsions and avoidance behaviors relating to your fears surrounding your friendships or your celebrities, specifically around this particular edition, because that's what I'm gearing it to, you feel so anxious. So naturally, because you feel so anxious and so much disconnect, that you have to go back to your compulsions and avoidance behaviors to reinstill that fear, because that gives you a hit of relief. So what are the common fears? Again, we're going to start with the friends ones first. What are the common fears? These are all the primary ones that we see. Okay? If they don't like me and if they have another friend that they regard as higher than me, it's the worst thing ever and I can't stand it. What if they leave my friendship and go behind my back? And what if let's say you're a girl and you have ROCD relating to a best friend. What if they have intimacy with my boyfriend? What if they go behind my back? So you're compulsively trying to search like a forensics analyst, and the police force trying to figure that out. What if I betray them, or what if they betray me? That would be horrible, terrible, the worst thing ever. I couldn't stand that. Again, going back to dating my spouses, if they don't answer me right away, that feeling of, oh my gosh, they didn't see my stuff. What am I going to do? And all sorts of stuff like that. Really, the main fears surrounding the friendship ones are the feeling of being disconnected to your friends, the feeling of your best friend no longer valuing you as your best friend, and then false memory and real events. Going into the past, did I do something in the past to where they would look at me differently, etc., etc. And then inside those compulsions, and remind you, this is not an exhaustive list. There is a lot. And then after I go through both these columns, I'm going to grab the book behind me, the first book on the reading list, and go through a very practical example. So the compulsions relating to the friends ROCD, the fear of them leaving you or not answering you, is compulsively checking text messages, compulsively checking photos. Oh my God, did they look happy in this photo? Are they still posting photos of us? Constantly wanting to hang out. Hey, let's hang out, let's hang out, let's hang out. That compulsive urge to want to be around them 24/7. Following and or unfollowing them on social media and all the other social media compulsions and avoidance behaviors in there, making sure everything looks great in the photos. If you're posting them, is the lighting look good? Do we both look really good looking, etc., etc.? Checking your emotions. Was I happier with them this time versus last time, and all the things like that in between. Constantly comparing photos. Maybe your best friend posts a photo with someone else that you're like, who is that person? Like, I don't know who they are. And then you're compulsively searching down the rabbit hole, etc. And then any type of avoidance behaviors. Maybe you're feeling so overwhelmed that you avoid seeing them because you're like, I can't be around them. I'm going to become too, attached to them emotionally, so I just won't hang out with them anymore. And then it becomes the other problem. So again, this is something that we see very commonly with the friends, specifically towards the best friends, not being connected, them betraying you, whether it's cheating with a boyfriend or girlfriend or having a new best friend. Now, let's go into celebrities, because this is something that we don't talk about a whole lot, but it is very common among humans, not just OCD and anxiety sufferers. So what are the common beliefs surrounding it? I have to meet them. I need to meet them. If I don't meet them in my life, it is 100% horrible. I have to be like them in any way. The money, the fame, the looks, we're going to talk about that in compulsions. Obsessing about not being as pretty and good looking as certain people. Remember, looks are something you don't really choose from a genetic standpoint. Some people are better looking physically. Some people are not better looking physically. Some people have better ability to solve problems because they were raised in an environment like. A lot of people obsess about not looking like celebrities, and it has nothing to do, we're not talking about all the filters and the fakeness in social media celebrities, because there is a lot. Many of them do not look like that, but that's regard the point, because you can't let yourself off the hook that easily with that. And then the other, my life not being like theirs, all the money, oh my gosh, I'm so poor, I don't have anything, their lives are so much better than mine, etc., etc., etc. And the compulsions involved inside of this, constantly checking blogs, following TMZ, following their life to a T, changing your style to match theirs. So let's say you have a celebrity crush, you're constantly changing your style when the new things come out, only wearing their clothes, their perfume, their shoes, everything. Following and unfollowing, the same thing like your best friends. Constantly writing them emails and letters. Oh my gosh, are they going to answer me? Are they going to get back to me? I need them to get back to me. My life will never be the same. Constantly watching their movies over and over, their if they've done TED Talks, their press conference talks, everything else in between. And then all avoidance. Same thing. Avoiding your family members because you're becoming so obsessed about their lifestyle, their spouses, and then comparing your lives. So I definitely, in a non-compulsive way, go back and watch this and think about some of the things that you're doing before I go into this book example. So I want you to pause this video right here. If you're suffering with this, write down those beliefs. Look at what those black and white demands are that you're holding on your best friends or strangers or coworkers. Remember, this could be for anyone that's a friend, not just a best friend, and any celebrity or anyone that has any type of fame. So let's go to the book, because that's key. Got the first book, okay? How to Stubbornly Refuse to Make Yourself Miserable About Anything. Yes, anything. And we are going to jump to page 96, 97, and we are going to use a practical example about the best friend or anyone that you're close to that's not an intimate partner. And also on top of that, completely worrying about what if my best friend actually likes me in a sexual manner? What if I become attracted to them in a sexual manner? And then there's some HOCD that can go in there, ROCD, false memory, cheating OCD, etc., etc. So let's say the activating event is losing connection with your best friend, okay? So it is horrible, absolutely terrible if this person is no longer in my life. I cannot stand it if I lose this person in my life. Life is not worth living. Not worth living if I am no longer around this person in my life. Okay? And that equals the negative emotions first. Because remember, the consequence, A plus B equals C. C pies out to two areas. The emotions and the behaviors. You have shame and fear, chronic anxiety, depression, problematic jealousy and envy. And the behaviors are avoidance or obsessive behaviors such as searching, not taking care of yourself, being overly aggressive, and everything else in between. So when you go to your disputing, once you have that written down on paper, keyword on paper, okay? Where is holding this belief getting me? Is it helping me or getting me into trouble? Well, holding this very strong black and white belief about my friend should never leave me is actually not getting me anywhere. It's getting me right here on this video, trying to figure out how to break this fear down. Where is the evidence that it's absolutely awful if my best friend never talked to me? I had really good friends growing up that I don't talk to anymore at all. They were like best friends for years. Yes, it's sad. Yes, our lives separate. They live in different areas of the United States, and we barely keep in touch. but that's the way about life and how it works. Okay, so a little bit of off topic, and this will be very, very important for anyone, but this is applicable. So you have, everyone's life has a line down the middle, the way I like to look at it. This line is called reality, okay? And we're not talking about like, oh, is reality real? I'm talking about the rational perspectives of life. The closer you are to this line, the closer you are to having a balance of optimism, skepticism, and realism, looking at life not through the lens of universal fairness and deservingness, and having a much more philosophical approach, the closer you'll be to this line to set yourself up with a less emotionally charged life in the future. But the further you go away from this line, okay, out here, that's where like, oh, fairness and deservingness exist. Oh, this person must never leave me. So the closer you are to the rational realities of life and the way that life works, which is not fair, it's quite brutal. Things don't have to work out our way. People don't have to respect us or be nice to us. Your ability to handle life problems, such as your friend leaving you, not talking to you anymore, and everything else in between, becomes much more composed. You don't lose your emotions, but it's a much more balanced approach. But if you step out here into the ether, that's where all those irrational beliefs are, and that's where things really become a problem. Okay? So your effective new philosophies, I'm going to talk about strong philosophies when it comes to this particular fear of losing your best friend. I really don't want to lose my best friend. We have a lot in common. But if my best friend decides to not talk to me anymore, it's not the end of the world. I can go out and find new friends. And even if I don't find another best friend that I rate as good as that best friend, I could still live my life and enjoy many things in my life. And then, it may be bad or unfortunate, but it's not awful. There is much worse things out there. This isn't going to let you off the hook fully. But conceptualizing, look, losing a best friend is tough, but it's not the end of the world as I imagine. Okay? I don't like it, but I can stand it. Eliminating vocabulary, right? I can't stand it. This is horrible. This is the worst thing ever. This is terrible. This is awful. Those verbiages I don't use in my life. Unless I'm like joking around, but I don't use them in any sort of a serious manner because they don't produce any sort of long-term relief. And that gives you your new functional and healthy emotions in time, which is concern, disappointment, healthy annoyance, remorse and sadness, healthy envy, and then support and exercising and all the other behaviors you might be doing that you might go away because you're so focused on not losing this relationship. So I want you to think about everything I said. Same thing applies to celebrities. Look at the behaviors you're doing. Look at your life. Look at the beliefs you're holding. Remember, most people think A equals C. I thought A equals C my whole life. Activating event equals C. I thought if you cut me off on the road, you made me angry. Not true at all. It added a piece to it. I made myself angry. It's my fault at all times. Okay? I like to blame myself a lot now. Not in a compulsive way, but hey, what can I do different? Because I was a victim my entire life. Anything from, car rage, relationship arguments. Oh, you have to change this and that. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this special edition of ROCD, friends, and celebrities, but you can apply this to anyone. Again, info@ocdrecovery.com, and we will get back to you in a timely fashion about coaching and webinar services. Have a good one, everyone.